Hello everyone, welcome, my name is Phoenix, and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. The Shrouds, 2025, David Cronenberg. Following the life of a man named Karsh, Karsh is the CEO of Grave Tech, a company that has pioneered a device known as the Shroud. This device allows a corpse to be wrapped in said shroud upon burial, and it will project a 3D rendering of their decaying body to a screen on the gravestone. One evening, several graves are vandalized at a Grave Tech cemetery. Wondering why someone would do this, Karsh begins to investigate the matter, and the rabbit hole he goes down will forever alter his life. Look, I desperately wanted to enjoy this new Cronenberg joint. Like, I really did. I really did. But as it went on, I ultimately just couldn't justify this film at all. Oh, holy hell, this was a piece of dog shit. Oh, fuck. Look, what bothers me about Cronenberg's recent output, with the exception of maybe Cosmopolis, specifically with the last two films he's done, Crimes of the Future and this one, is just how flat everything is shot. There is barely any interesting cinematography in this film. Sure, there's some nice lighting here and there, but most of it was bright and just stock. The camera barely moves, and when it does, there's no interesting blocking or coordination involved. It feels like someone else entirely is directing this film, someone who I know is nowhere near as talented as David Cronenberg once was, or maybe still is. I don't fucking know at this point. Even if there was some decent Cronenberg-esque gore, it didn't really do much for me. Like, cool, his wife's naked, surgically mutilated body was, from a pure technical standpoint, decently presented. It looked realistic enough. It was probably the only memorable image in this film, but even then, it pales in comparison to any of his other films that involve gore, even more grounded films like A History of Violence or Eastern Promises. I suppose the music in the film is fine. Working once again with longtime collaborator Howard Shore keeps the music in this film minimal and ambient. Some light synths start and end the film, and are sprinkled here and there when needed. Don't get me wrong, it's pleasant, and at times I dug the atmosphere it was attempting to create, but it wasn't his most memorable work. Fuck, I think even Crimes of the Future had a more memorable score. And that film was fucking boring. But, much like Crimes of the fucking Future, it's the writing in the Shrouds that really seals the deal on this being stinky. Now, from an emotional standpoint, I could understand the through line going on with this film. David Cronenberg made this as a way to process the grief he felt when his wife died. In many ways, I can see how this premise would play right into that. Creating a technology that allows you to see loved ones rotting away is a neat idea. A film about a man who is deeply grieving and using a fucked up piece of tech to hold on sounds very Cronenberg. And if any director could pull that idea off, it would be him. But so much about this script just fails fundamentally. Acknowledging that Cronenberg's dialogue has always been weird and unique, this film's dialogue was practically just comedic at points. The awkward sex dialogue throughout this film was fucking hysterical by the end of it. The delivery of the line, "sex question," was so stunted it popped the whole theater into laughter. I don't know, maybe Cronenberg wants to fuck his sister-in-law? Who fucking knows? Add to that, the plot of this film was so meandering and convoluted. At 2 hours, this film felt an hour longer, and barely anything fucking happened. Scenes of just boring dialogue that barely developed anything, or developed things at a snail's pace. Things started to happen by the last act, but it was incomprehensible as to what was going on. Something to do with the Chinese and Russians spying on people with things that monitor corpses? Yeah, that's a hell of a fucking plan. Fuck me. Like, the film offered no real definitive conclusion to its various arcs, aside from the vague one about Karsh's grief, I guess. Ugh, fuck it. The cast, of course, just had no fucking idea what they were doing here. And that's a shame, because we have some heavy hitters in this cast. Vince Cassell, Diane Kruger, motherfucking Guy Pearce, just off an Oscar nom. This movie should have went hard when it came to performances. I think the only performance that was kind of hitting its mark was Guy Pearce. He seemed to be getting into how much of a tweaker this guy Morey was, especially near the end. The rest of this cast just sort of tried their best, but couldn't sell this nonsense. Vince Cassell was really trying with this script, but his performance was really awkward, as was Diane Kruger's, who was also trying. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to expand on, maybe clarify, before we wrap up here. So, firstly, I also want to mention that the editing and the special effects in this film weren't great. There were moments where we saw, video calls and whatnot, but it looked like fucking footage was just slapdash stitched onto a image of a phone, like fucking amateur fucking Adobe After Effects bullshit. Like, in a fucking movie that was made with probably, a few $1 million? You can do fucking better than that shit. And the fucking computer assistant model, that wasn't great looking. The special effects, the CGI looked kinda cheap. Like, really fucking cheap. Oh, and, yeah, there is a weird fucking arc involving Karsh wanting to fuck his sister-in-law. And those two start having sex, and like, I can vaguely understand what's happening there in terms of a character arc, the whole him not being able to get over his wife's death thing. That, in theory, that should be, like, very interesting. But, again, the fucking terrible, fucking weird dialogue just ruins everything. And when you think about how this script factors into David Cronenberg and him grieving his own wife, it's just, it comes off as fucking awkward, and it makes you question what the fuck David was thinking. Like, oh fuck. God, this film's bad. God, I just expect such better things from everyone involved in this film. David Cronenberg especially. Once me and my friend who I saw this with sort of accepted that this film was garbage, we started to have some fun clowning on it. And I was desperately hoping that Cronenberg had one in the bag still. A banger that would resemble his best work. The Shrouds, though? This shit ain't it. If you love David Cronenberg, do yourself a favor and skip this garbage, because he has done so much goddamn better, and those films deserve your attention more. Go watch his son Brandon's film. Go watch Possessor. That's a fucking great film. Anyways, this film's trash. Don't see it. Fucking 2.5 to a 3 out of 10. Maybe it's a 3 on a nice day. That means fucking nothing, though. Fuck this movie. Catch you later, guys.